Hey guys, welcome back to Leading Edge Cricket. I'm Rob, one half of Leading Edge Cricket, and today we've got something very, very special for you. An interview with Jonathan Northall, author of Ruling the World. Now, this is part of the podcast which has just previously come out, but on YouTube, it's his own separate video with the interview and a little bit of chit-chat with me and Rich at the start. So guys, hope you enjoy it. If you love the book, you want to support Jonathan, his links are down below, and also where to purchase this book. 22nd of February, it will be available. Enjoy. What we've got coming up next is the interview with Jonathan Northall, who I had a bit of a chat with about a week ago. And he is author of Ruling the World, the 1992 Cricket World Cup Retrospect.
I like the sound of it, mate. I didn't get involved in this conversation, but you did, and you had a good chat with him. So what was your... Obviously, we're not going to ruin it for anyone. Everyone want everyone to listen to this. He's given his time, so, tune in, guys. But what's your big takeaway from this conversation, Robin, and Jonathan's book?
Oh, bloody good bloke. Loves his cricket. Black country boy living in Brisbane these days.
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. So he's an interesting guy. Loves his cricket, loves stats. I like people that like stats, and he's definitely one of those. And it's the depth that he goes into with the book, which is quite incredible. Like, for whatever reason, the 1992 World Cup is one of the big ones that stands out in history, and I don't know whether it's the colour or the kits or just and the incredible stories that were told throughout the World Cup, like the Duckworth-Lewis before that came around, England, South Africa, and the World Cup final, Wasim Akram celebrating. There's so much that was great about this World Cup, and tactically what was great about this World Cup, and innovations that went into it. And what he's basically done is he's gone away and he's gone and spoke to Derek Pringle, Philip de Freitas, Gladstone Small, Brian McMillan, forwarded by Kepler Vessels, and had a chat with them about all the different games in the World Cup and done a complete, comprehensive retrospect of the World Cup from the people that was actually involved. It's an incredible amount of work that's gone into it from him, and it's going to be a wonderful read.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I'm sure. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it or not, but it's certainly something that we'll both look to dig into and digest at some point. I'm just having a very quick look at 1992 World Cup stats. Martin Crowe, 456 runs, leading run scorer, man of the series. Have that.
Exactly, and 100 against Australia in the first game, mate. That would have been pretty special. So the book itself, Ruling the World, that's coming out on 22nd of February. It's going to be available. It is literally available all over the world. I'm going to post more links than you've ever seen linked to in your life of where you can pick this up. It is literally available all over the world and will be available from every test playing nation. As
you did just miss... but you did just miss the way of always introducing a book, saying this book is available from all good bookshops and lots of bad ones as well.
You've nailed it though, mate. You've nailed it.
So, yeah, anyway, everyone tune in. Jonathan Northall talking about his book with Robert.
Yeah, it's going to be well worth the read, guys. You can hit him up on Twitter. The guy is a serial tweetist, if that's a thing to go. We've had... This could call him Tweetgate. But he's on twitter.com/jnorthall. 65,000 tweets the man has sent. He's a bloody tweeter, as well as his own website, jonathannorthall.com. And where to get this book will be all linked in the description, either on iTunes or YouTube, wherever you listen to it. So well worth the read, guys. Rich, anything else from yourself on this beautiful sunny morning in New Zealand or dark and dreary evening in England?
No, I'm good, mate. It might be dark and dreary, but I'm channeling your sunshine and I'm sitting in my house with my heating on with my shorts on.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy. Have yourself a great week, Riggs. Have yourself a great week, guys. And here's Jonathan's interview. So I'm joined now by Jonathan Northall, a cricket lover, statistician, podcaster, and I've got to say, serial tweeter, but the proud author of a fantastic new cricket book called Ruling the World about the 1992 Cricket World Cup. Jonathan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on. It's such a wonderful introduction. I'll send you the check later.
I know, but I've got to say, serial tweeter. I was just doing a bit of research. 65.1 thousand tweets.
Yeah, I've been on Twitter almost 10 years now. I think it's the 24th of January is my 10th anniversary on Twitter. So I think if we narrow that down per day, that's probably still a lot actually.
There's nothing wrong with a good tweet to be sent out there. So Jonathan, when we was looking and we joined Twitter a year or so ago when we joined the podcast, you were one of the people that we ended up following, and it says you're from Queensland, but obviously talking to you, you've got a very English accent going on.
Indeed, yes. I've been in Australia now for just over 4 years. People will probably pick up that my accent is from the Midlands, so that's where I'm from originally. So as a family, we came out to Australia at the back end of 2014.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. Whereabouts in the Midlands were you from?
I am not too well deep in the heart of the Black Country, basically. Yeah, sort of Blackheath. Some people may or may not be aware of that. But yeah, I am a Black Country boy.
Yeah, so you've gone Black Country to basically Brisbane?
Yeah, absolutely. So gone from a slight weather change, so to speak.
Yeah, just a little bit. Brisbane's a beautiful place. I can see why you've gone and made that change. So when you were in the UK and you're a young nipper, why cricket? What drew you to cricket as a young lad?
That's a very good question, because in my sort of formative years of cricket, England were how shall I say this? Not very good.
Awful. Yeah.
Yeah. My sort of first real recollections of cricket are 1981. Unfortunately, I don't really remember sort of the both of them part of 1981. But what I do remember is Terry Alderman just taking wicket after wicket after wicket. So that's really that's the first sort of memory. And I've always liked sport. Not just cricket, but cricket's always been there. I've liked the statistical side of cricket. I played for school. I wouldn't say I was, I wasn't overly good, but I was good enough to get in the school side, and I was happy with that.
That's good enough for me. You'll probably open the batting at my old team, mate. You've picked up a cricket bat before you're in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, To be honest, that was the way we went to our school as well. Really, we struggled to get 11, so it wasn't a major achievement.
And by the time the 1992 World Cup rolls around, 92 World Cups, I was born in 85, so I'd have been 7 at this point in life. But I can remember the 92 World Cup, and one of the amazing things that kind of sticks out in my memory is the kits. What do you remember from the 92 World Cup? Because you would have been a teenager by then.
Yeah, absolutely. I was 19, so obviously I remember it a lot better than you do.
Yeah.
But the thing that sort of stuck with me was those kits. I remember buying an England one. Goodness knows what's happened to it. Probably got chucked away a long time ago. But yeah, it was just so colourful. In many ways, really, and it stuck with me. And then when I came out to Australia, the job I was doing, I was sort of travelling around Australia, and I noticed that I was going to some of these places that I'd only seen relating to 92, and it's sort of, sitting on aeroplanes, flying to Victoria and flying through Queensland. I thought, I need to do something with this. I've been blogging for quite a few years, and I thought, well, I need to do something else. I need to get a book published. I self-published a book back in 2013, but I really wanted to get one published, and I thought, you know what, 1992 seems like a good topic. I looked at what books were around, and there really wasn't anything.
Yeah.
There was quite a few that came out after the tournament in 1992, and it sort of dropped off the radar, and I found that strange, because everyone I speak to about 92 looks on it so fondly.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, the rose-tinted spectacles approach. But you didn't really get anyone have a bad word to say about it. And as you say, the first thing they talk about are those kids.
Yeah, it's got to be right up there at the top. And it was memorable. There was so many kind of key critical moments to the history of one-day international cricket, from innovations in tactics with what the Kiwis were doing at the time, and what went on with before the Duckworth-Lewis era of cricket, when it reigned as well with the South Africans. Yes,
those are the sort of the secondary and tertiary memories are the rain rule, the most productive overs rule, and that was one of the things that I really wanted to find out more about for the book.
Yeah.
So I decided I need to contact well, there's only three people you can contact really, and that's Duckworth, Lewis, and Stern. And I managed to speak to them, and Professor Stern was really great, and he's provided some statistics for me for the book, and they're in there. So we can compare. Well, what did the MPO rules say compared to what Duckworth, Lewis, and DLS? So hopefully that'll give the reader an idea of what could have happened if a better rule was in place. So obviously that's an argument in itself whether DLS is the right rule. However, it's certainly better than the one that was in place in '92.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. It's such an it really is an interesting World Cup. And for me personally, if I look at all the World Cups over the history, there's not many as an England fan that England have done very well at. I can remember being on holiday as a kid in, I think, an England '99 hat, and I was getting told by drunk people around the pool going, there's no need to be wearing that. England are terrible at cricket. And back in '92, they still had a bit of gumption about them at the time.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair, to be honest. They went into the tournament in good form. They just beaten the New Zealanders in the one-day series, and they really went into the tournament. Maybe not favourites, but they would have been up there. They had the personnel really to sort of to go deep into the tournament as they did. But as we know, with the benefit of hindsight, the steam sort of ran out of the momentum and picked up injuries again.
Yeah,
I think that was really symptomatic of the squad. If you look at the squad makeup, that you sort of got older individuals, and I think they just lost momentum.
And that's one of the things that you really get stuck into in this book, don't you? You don't just talk about the World Cup. You actually go into the detail of all the games, the warm-ups, what the squads were made up of, to really give it that in-depth feel to what was going on at the time. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I wanted to do. There's lots of stories that we know about '92, but for me, it was what were the stories that we didn't know as well, and I think I've managed to tease some of those out.
Yeah.
I'd like to have spoken to more of the players, but I managed to get contact details for certainly far more than I spoke to. But I suppose really, you think, that they've got a message from me, and it's like, who is this? And I get it. I'm certainly not going to name names or criticise anybody at all. The people who did speak to me, great, fantastic. That helped me to sort of flesh out the story of '92. But there's certainly people I would have liked to have got their input in as well, just to really just sort of look at different angles. Having said that, I struggled to keep it into the word count as it was anyway. So goodness knows what I'd have done. Maybe there'd have been a volume 1 and volume 2.
And some of those guys that you spoke to, that must be a great conversation. You're like, hey, it's Jono here from Brisbane. I'm just writing a book about this thing that you did 26 years ago.
Yes.
But I love what it was. And I'm just looking through the website, and some of the people you've spoken to, Derek Pringle, an absolute legend, Philip de Vrees, Gladstone Small, Brian McMillan, Gavin Lawson. They're just... I like you enjoy statistics around cricket, I do as well, but I enjoy the names of the people that you used to watch on TV, and it must have been so fascinating to kind of delve into their mind and have a conversation with them.
Oh, indeed. It was one of those where if I hadn't been careful, I could have had a couple of fanboy moments, and that would have been embarrassing for all concerned. So it was about, now I've got a job to do. But yeah, a few times I was sort of sitting down and sort of pinching myself, am I really speaking to this individual? So meeting Kepler Wessels, for example, just there he was in his gym, just sitting there, and he was just talking as normal, and we were having a great conversation, and it was just weird. I mean, it was good of him to do the forward for the book as well. I really appreciate. A lot of people have been really generous with their time. And that's been great, but there has been a few moments where I've had to pinch myself and think, am I really talking to this individual?
Yeah.
Like one of those particularly was speaking to Jonathan Agnew. It was just absolutely weird. Just he answers the phone and it's like, that's Jonathan Agnew. I know that voice. He has no idea who I am whatsoever, nor should he. and we were chatting away. And because I've been crawling all over this for quite a while now, you remember things, and because these guys, they lived it, and they've moved on, and they've experienced millions of other things. It was just strange to sort of have that. Well, oh no, you've not quite remembered that, right? It was actually X, not Y, and I suppose that helped a little bit with the legitimacy as well. But yeah, it was. It's been random. But obviously, ultimately, I had a job to do, and I wanted to produce the best book I possibly could, and I feel I did that. I mean, I think if I did it again now, I'd do things differently. But that's all part of the writing process.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. Yeah, sorry, Mr. Agnew, that ball you bowled did go for 6. Don't worry about it, Jonathan. We all forget these things. I do the same when I talk about myself playing cricket back home in England. It's like, oh yeah, remember that day I took that one-handed diving catch at cover? No one else can remember it. It probably didn't happen. So we fast forward about 16 years to where we are today, 2018, 2019. Do you still own any of these kits, or do you see them popping around the grounds in Brisbane when you're watching games?
There are quite a few, but not the original ones. In 2015, for the Cricket World Cup here in Australia, they reissued them, and you see quite a few popping up on TV or at the ground itself. I was at a couple of the T20s a couple of months ago, and I saw quite a few with a couple of mates, and I kept pointing out, I bet they'd want to read my book, which got quite annoying in the end because there's so many of these shirts.
They kind of did the same over here. So I was down in New Zealand when the World Cup was on, and all of a sudden the old the brown brigade or beige brigade, the New Zealand tops were just everywhere in the stands. And it's quite something. I tried to get myself one of the England 1992 Cricket World Cup tops for the World Cup, but I just couldn't get hold of one at the time. But one thing I kind of mentioned at the start that I kind of want to roll back to as well, and one of the things I really appreciate about cricket is innovation and how things evolve over time. You look at someone like the Dill Scoop. It's a shot that was never played. You look at Kevin Peterson, and he had the whole reverse sweep that came into the game and the slog sweep. And just rolling back to how much one-day international cricket has changed from this point. So looking at this New Zealand team, and first game of the campaign, Mark Greatbatch didn't play. But then he came in as a pinch hitter at the top of the order to go against the seam bowlers, and was pretty much the first guy ever in one-day international cricket, white ball cricket, to go, we're just going to attack from the off. It's not about keeping wickets in hand, it's about actually scoring runs. Yeah,
absolutely. And it sort of really did change the landscape. Ian Botham obviously opened the batting in 92 again. His brief was to play a very similar role.
Yeah.
It didn't really happen, apart from the Australia game. And Kapil Dev did it a couple of times as well for India. So the concept of a pinch hitter really, really sort of developed in 92. I think there's a lot of things that we saw in 92 that wasn't the first time they'd been seen on a cricket pitch.
Yeah.
However, I think because it was the world stage, they really came to prominence. And from there, the more innovative aspects of one-day cricket really sort of germinated from there. I don't think we'd ever have seen Martin Crowe play a ramp shot or something like that, because for me his timing was just too good. He didn't need to play those kind of shots. I think in T20 cricket there are times where you just want to see some, I'm going to say, proper cricket shots. Just play normal cricket, rotate the strike.
Yeah.
Whereas, you try and, thrash your way out of trouble more often than not, and it just doesn't happen. Like Deepak Patel opening the bowling. Now all the time we see spinners opening. It's the way to go. Whereas 92 was absolutely strange, and I spoke to Deepak Patel as part of the book, and he tells a story about going out to bowl for the first time against the Australians. And they just looked confused when he was going to open the bowling. He tells a story in the book about Jeff Marsh's reaction to seeing him have the ball to open the bowling, and it was just something different. But now it's just happens all the time. You see, like Brisbane Heat in the BBL, Majid opens the bowling. You name it. You see spinners do it all the time. Whereas 92, it was an abomination almost.
Yeah, exactly. You can imagine someone's face like, "What? It's a brand new ball, mate. Why would you possibly want to give it to the spinner?" But it works out. Patel 1 for 36 in that game, and New Zealand went and won and had a fantastic World Cup. Martin Crowe, most runs in the whole World Cup, if I'm right.
Yeah, he scored the most runs, and New Zealand played an absolute blinder of a game plan in '92. Their whole game was designed about stemming the flow of runs.
Yeah.
And obviously we talk about those concepts now in T20, whereas in '92 that's exactly what Martin Crowe was doing. I was talking to Gavin Larson about this, and it was about those middle overs, the dibbly dobblies, and just giving the batsman nothing to score off, or very little to score off, and just sort of kill the momentum. And again, we see that now in T20. Almost a dot ball is more important than a wicket.
Yes. Yeah, it is 100%. He builds the pressure. It's, you can take that from any source of cricket that you watch. If you watch club cricket, it's the dot balls that kill the team and build the pressure that lead to a big shot. And it's exactly the same at the top level in T20 cricket and one-day cricket. You see 3 or 4 dot balls go down. It changes the whole complexity of the game, and something is going to happen at the end of that over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about just choking the batters, not giving them any possibility to score. With the tight fielding. We talk about tight fielding in '92. You can only mention Jonty Rhodes, where the guy was just absolutely deadly. Anything anywhere near him in the air, he was going to catch it. On the floor, he was going to stop it. He's just a phenomenal fielder.
Yeah, he definitely was. And the other one that I want to talk about is the Pakistani team. So it was Pakistan's only World Cup win. And, it's a cricket passionate country, and they would love to be back there one day. But this Pakistani team, you look at the bowling, and this is, again, it's coming back to the names of the people that's in these teams that you go, wow, legend. Aqib Javed, Mushtaq Ahmed, Wasim Akram, Imran Khan. It's like, I would not want to be the guy at the other end, like this England team in the World Cup final, facing Wasim Akram bowling at 90 miles an hour, swinging it onto your toes.
No, absolutely. No. I think one of the most important things to remember about Pakistan is that they lost Waqar Younis before the tournament even started. To actually think if Waqar would have played, would it have changed the dynamic though? I don't know. They did struggle a little bit to sort of find that fifth bowler at times, and Ijaz Ahmed had to turn his arm over. But you just think if Waqar had played, Waqar and Wasim, how many more wickets? Obviously Aqib Javed did a good job, but if you can imagine, the two of them.
Oh, Wasim and Waqar is it's legendary status, and I think that's one of the things. The things you're talking about here, Jonathan, it's the depth that you go into the book on every single game, on every single decision to pick players and all this sort of stuff. It's an absolute must-have for any cricket fan that loves the white ball game or loves the World Cup, who's got a little bit of nostalgia held to this 1992 World Cup. It's absolutely superb. So what we're going to do is we're going to post the links in YouTube and on iTunes and on our website to all the places across the world where you can actually pick up this book. When is it going to be available for them, Jonathan?
It is available on February the 22nd. Any New Zealand listeners of your podcast will automatically recognise February the 22nd because that was the day of the first match in 1992 when the Black Caps, well, they weren't the Black Caps then, beat Australia at Eden Park. So it's out next month, and I'm trying to get it into many of those nations that played in '92 as possible. I'm still working on trying to get a presence in Pakistan. It's showing up on Amazon India now. Obviously, it's on Amazon UK. In Australia, it's on Booktopia and Mighty Ape. In New Zealand, it's on Mighty Ape New Zealand. So it's getting out there. South Africa, I think it's on exclusive books. So I'm trying to get it out there because obviously, I'm not going to deny there isn't a commercial aspect to this, but for me, it's about getting that story out and people reliving 92 or experiencing 92 for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. That's it. I remember as a kid, my dad would used to go to car boot sales and pick up the old Playfair cricket annuals of the 1980s, and I'd sit there at home and read about all the 1980s, and that's what cricket's about. There's a whole history for the next generation coming through that they'll want to learn about, and this is absolutely critical to how white ball evolved and one of the greatest World Cups of all time. I mentioned your 65.1k tweets. How can people get in contact with you to ask you questions and follow you? Always, you're forever tweeting about cricket, which is awesome, and it's great to have those interactions. Whereabouts can they drop in on you?
Yeah, they can contact me via my Twitter account, which is @jnorthall. I've got a website as well, jonathannorthall.com, so they could send me an email through there. The hashtag that we've come up with for the book is #RulingTheWorld, and they can contact me via that, because I shall keep a very close eye on that hashtag, or via my publisher, which is Pitch Publishing. And if they're going to have a look at Pitch Publishing, have a look at some of the other great titles that Pitch have got out there and are coming out soon. They're a really good publisher. They give authors like myself who are new to the game an opportunity. I want to sort of thank them for that. But I think people need to sort of go out there and go and have a look at what the sort of things that Pitch actually have got coming up, because they've got some really decent books coming out, and they've got a wealth of stuff that they've already published. Things like the Albert Trott book from Steve Neal. So they've got some really good, really good cricket books. They just cover a load of sports. So
that's brilliant. That's absolutely superb. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time and swinging by the podcast. Me and Rich are going to get ourselves a copy of this, and we can't wait to have a good old read. But in the meantime, I think I'll be on YouTube just watching a few highlights from the 92 World Cup, getting all excited again.
I can send you one or two links, so that's no problem at all. And thank you for having me on the podcast.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. All the best.